On a vast expanse of sea, a magnificent ship was cutting through the waves and moving forward. On the ship, a noble king and a Persian slave were sailing together. This slave had grown up inland. He had never seen the magnificent ocean, nor had he experienced the feeling of being on a ship. As soon as the ship set sail, the slave was extremely frightened by this strange and unknown environment. The gentle rocking of the ship by the waves seemed to him like terrifying giants stirring recklessly. He cried all the way, and his body trembled uncontrollably. His crying and trembling body made the originally relaxed and pleasant atmosphere on the ship become oppressive. The people on the ship gathered around and tried to comfort him. Some soothed him softly, and some took out delicious food to coax him, but all of these were in vain. The slave still cried nonstop. The king's originally enjoyable journey was disrupted by him. The king frowned, full of annoyance. Everyone racked their brains, but couldn't come up with an effective way to make the slave quiet. At this time, a well-known philosopher on the ship stepped forward. He said confidently, "Your Majesty, if you allow me to give it a try, I'm sure I can make him quiet." When the king heard this, a glimmer of hope flashed in his eyes. He quickly said, "If you could really do it, it would be a great merit." After getting the king's permission, the philosopher immediately ordered his men to throw the slaves into the sea. Although the people were a bit hesitant, they still followed the philosopher's instructions. The slave was thrown into the sea without any warning. The sea water instantly submerged him. He struggled desperately in the sea, sinking and floating several times. Each time he surfaced, it was accompanied by a panicked cry. Just when the slave was about to lose his strength, the people grabbed his hair and dragged him to the side of the ship. At this moment, the slave clung tightly to the rudder, with both hands as if grasping at a life-saving straw. His eyes were filled with fear and despair. It took the people a great deal of effort to drag him back onto the ship. After getting on the ship, the slave seemed like a different person. He sat quietly in a corner. There was still a hint of fear in his eyes, but he no longer cried or made noise. He was as quiet as if he had become a different person. Seeing this, the king highly commended it and was filled with curiosity. He asked the philosopher, "What's the mystery behind your method?" The philosopher smiled slightly and explained unhurriedly, "Originally, he had never experienced the pain of near drowning, so naturally he couldn't appreciate the preciousness of sitting safely on the ship. People are often like this. Only when they have personally experienced hardships can they truly understand the value of peace and comfort." When he faced the life and death crisis in the sea, he realized how rare it is to be safe on the ship. That's why he stopped crying. After hearing this, the king nodded thoughtfully, as if he had grasped a deeper truth about life from the philosopher's words.